And it was late at night last night, so in case you missed it, we recap quickly. Buffalo, Baltimore, the epic come-from-behind win by the Bills. D. Wood, your number one takeaway.
Road through the AFC goes through Buffalo. That was a huge win for the Buffalo Bills to beat the Baltimore Ravens. We know about that division, the AFC East, that, you know, their travel schedule this year. I think everything is set up for the Bills.
I know the road to the Super Bowl goes through Buffalo, but these two teams are really strong. And if they played 10 times, they'd probably split those 10 matchups. The issue is, if they meet again, it's probably going to be in Buffalo in the postseason.
For that reason. And that's why yesterday was so critical. Even if our analytics still favor the Ravens, remember, Baltimore has a very tough game coming up here against the Lions, who will be bouncing back, desperately needing a win. The Ravens did start 0-2 last year and work their way back to it. You were starting to make, when we talked about this earlier, an interesting point. The Ravens, for those of you who didn't watch the game, had a chance to go for it and ice the game late yesterday on a 4th and a long 2, maybe 3 yards. They wind up punting it instead, and Allen goes down and wins the game. What did that tell you?
Well, it tells me that they still are living in the past. All right, this is a very proud, traditional franchise, and always assumes their defense anymore. And if there's a fault, the Ravens are the best team in the NFL for the first 3 quarters of the game.
Yeah.
But in the 4th quarter, they're not. And why? Because they still have that mentality that I'm still coaching that defense. It ain't there.
Right.
Like Ray Lewis is playing. That's a different team. The strength of your team is that off consider.
And when they're punting to Buffalo, Buffalo gets 4 downs there.
Yeah.
They get 4 downs to get. They couldn't
With
stop them on
Josh
3
Allen.
downs. And then they're getting with 4 downs because they're going to go for it every time when they need the first down.
Going into the season, there was a big question mark, rightfully so, about Buffalo's receivers. Josh Allen quarterbacked this offense to be in a top 5 offense last year and won MVP. Those 2 receivers stepped up. And this offense might be better. I'm talking about Keon Coleman and Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer comes over for the Chargers. Massive impact last night. Keon Coleman, who's their 2nd-year draft pick out of Florida State, massive impact last night. If those 2 receivers continue to elevate their play and play similar to the way they did last night, this offense will be better than the one that the quarterback won MVP in last year.
So it's dangerous to overreact to things we see in week 1. But as I've said many times, we are professional overreactors. Having watched Kansas City and what that team looked like Friday night in Brazil, and then watching Buffalo and Baltimore, certainly looked like we were seeing the 2 best teams.
Buffalo and Baltimore head and shoulders right now.
But we'll see. It's a long way to go. Let's take you to MetLife yesterday. Mr. Rogers back in his old neighborhood. Steelers and Jets. He heard some boos, some few cheers in the building.
He's played since he was a Green Bay Packer.
No. There's no need to think
not
that.
even close.
It was by far the best game he's played
honestly,
since he was a Packer.
Up until last night, I thought he was the best quarterback playing football yesterday in the NFL. I mean, he was ridiculous. I think the thing that stood out for me was just the savvy deception that he brings to their football team. He's going to point to the safety at the top and then motion the receiver. He's telling the defense, like, hey, I'm bringing this guy down to block that safety. Then the ball handling. The defense has no clue where the football is, if he's keeping it or not. That makes everybody dip down to the line of scrimmage. He sees that the defender is low and the corner route is high. Here comes Skoranek scraping across, but he's wide open because Aaron sold everybody that I'm running the football here with that point. You go later on in the game, the other touchdown pass that he has, it's the same thing. He points backside, brings that safety down or that receiver down. Look at that ball fake again. Look at those defenders come down. I didn't know how the offense was going to work, and I know it's week 1, but it felt and it looked like just the experience that Rodgers has and that ball handling savviness or the stuff at the line of scrimmage was perfectly matched with Arthur Smith to create some big plays.
Can I say, that play design was just nasty.
You see
to insert the wide receiver in the C gap.
But Wood, the best part is he gets to the line of scrimmage and he's pointing to the defense, hey, that's your guy.
Here's the thing. I've been telling anyone who would listen that last year was much more about the Jets than it was about Rodgers. The Jets were 0-6 in one-score games last year. Coaching is the difference in the margins of games like that. To go from what the Jets had coaching last year to Mike Tomlin, I don't even know how, I don't even know what analogy to make to it. It is literally going from the ridiculous to the sublime. The Steelers are going to be really good. Rodgers was really good. Period. Next paragraph. You picked the Jets on the show yesterday. You said you felt this was the Jets, the must-win game. They came really close. There were a lot of things to like. Justin Fields was great. What's your takeaway on the Jets?
That they got a real offense now for the first time since Weeb Eubank, right? I mean, let's face it. I mean, you can't just play. You can't just tell Aaron Rodgers what the hell you're going to be in every snap. And that was an issue I had. I'm shocked that they couldn't get more pressure on him. The Jets sold out on the running game. Those big plays were second and whatever. Look, Pittsburgh wasn't cracking the line of scrimmage in the run.
Yeah, it's a good point.
We don't have to sell out like you were.
Yeah.
But, Aaron Glenn, I understand where he's coming from. He's talking like, no, we are going to be physical, we're going to stop the run, and we're going to run the football. So hats off to him. This is the first time in a billion years. They were plus 129 in the rushing department. That's another encouraging sign for the Jets. I'm all in on this football team. I think they're super talented. But, to me, it was about Aaron Rodgers. And by the way, no way in hell did anybody think he was going to play this good.
Well, it was about Aaron Rodgers, and it was about Justin Fields, and it was a statement game for both quarterbacks who, for the first time in history, were going up against their former teams they played on last year. And saw how personal this game was to Aaron Rodgers, how much it meant to him, but it also meant a lot to Justin Fields. And if the Jets had found a way to pull it out and avoid the tears that Greeny shed yesterday.
I mean, we did an essay a few weeks ago. The marriage of Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers is a marriage made in heaven. And after watching what happened last night, watch the Steelers this year. Rodgers, if he stays healthy, is going to be great. Our next ESPN WNBA game is tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, with the Lynx, who have already clinched the #1 seed, and taking on the Fever. Coverage tips with WNBA Countdown. We continue here. We'll go to some other games yesterday. It was a fascinating first Sunday. Should the Bengals feel better or worse after narrowly escaping in Cleveland yesterday? We have some opposing views on that one. Plus, we will get to the after this game.
I feel the exact same as I did before when I questioned Zach Taylor having his team prepared to play to start the season. What the hell? They had in the second half of the game, they dropped back 12 times. The quarterback got hit 6 times.
Yeah.
They gave up as many sacks as they had completions. And by the way, you got Joe Burrow, who's an amazing quarterback, 3 sacks and 3 completions in the second half. Hell, no, I don't feel good about him to start the season.
Joe Burrow out there playing hopscotch because of the doggone defensive pressure. Can we show this clip of Myles Garrett bearing down?
Like quarterback kids?
Come on, anyone who wants to play the National Football League, could you deal with that right there?
By the way,
Myles Garrett bearing down on you.
Oh, my goodness.
Myles Garrett, who
ridiculous.
he is an Avenger. I mean, anyone who's ever seen him with he doesn't look like a human being, right? He looks like something far greater than a human being.
No way do you want to put the back over there to help on Myles Garrett. I mean,
I'll tell you who doesn't want to be there.
Let's get him out in the routes and get our quarterback killed.
If I'm the
again.
back, I don't want to be there. Quickly, your thoughts on the Bengals?
I'm ecstatic if I'm Cincinnati.
Get the hell out of here.
I feel so much better about if I'm Cincinnati than I did going into it. Guys, their offense is going to be. You're worried about their offense?
No.
Okay,
I'm not. I'm worried about how they start seasons.
They
won.
They won. Their defense
They won.
looked so much better. I mean, their defense looked significantly improved.
They played the Brown stain.
But their defense looked better. They gave up 16 points. The only thing they didn't do great was protect the middle of the field, but they ran to the football better. They tackled the ball better. I would be wildly encouraged. They're 1-0.
Hold on, what did you call them? What did you call them, Rex?
Let's move on from that. Shefty, you mediate. I want to get to some other games.
I would be much better.
So we got feels bad, feels good. If you're Cincinnati, talk to me.
Opening week is the week, I think that coaches just feel very weirdly about weird things happen. If you leave week 1 with a road win, isn't that
Against
all that
Myles
matters?
Garrett. Against Myles Garrett.
A road win.
Rex.
A road win.
We put Rex in timeout for just a moment.
I don't care what
Sorry
stain
about
they were
that,
playing.
Tom.
They lost to that
Let's
team.
put it
You know
this
what? And I get it. Of course, you are happy as heck that you won the game, and you can coach like crazy. But the whole thing in the offseason was about how we're going to get our team to be
Right.
popping out of our
Right.
skin and playing at a level we do at the end of the season. Look, nobody wants to play this team at the end of the season. Why can't you make that at the beginning of the season?
Let me
I don't
shift
understand
gears.
it.
If you're the Bengals fans, here's what you can say. At least we're not the Dolphins. Holy smoke. The Miami Dolphins got absolutely obliterated by Daniel Jones and the Colts yesterday. 33-8 was the final. Look at the numbers on Tua Tagovailoa. Just basically couldn't have looked worse. 3 turnovers. The scale, a QBR is on a scale of 1 to 100. His was 2.7. Here was Coach Mike McDaniel after the game on how he views the pressure as head coach. You will also hear from a very unhappy Tyreek Hill.
I don't see this job void of pressure. I don't see entitlement in this job. But, you know, I'm not. I think the most important thing is that I worry about doing my job.
This was a big, kicking the ball, for us. So I feel like next week we'll be better.
We bleeped that, huh? So of all the things that get said on a daily basis, we bleeped that. But you get the sense of it. You were reacting strongly when Mike McDaniel was talking there. What were you reacting?
Yeah, what the hell is he talking about? You know, maybe he's on a different level, McGenius guy, whatever the hell he is, nerd boy. But anyway, their team has no respect for the coach. They play like that. They're like, come on, man, get us a dang guy in here. Where's the physicality of this team? What did you say?
They're soft.
You know, we were talking, that's why you picked them to win, because they have tons of talent.
Yeah.
They don't play with any passion or any smoke to them.
Their tape was a mess. And you could blame everybody. You could blame the coaching. You could blame the players. There's blown assignments by everybody on offense. Tua's floating the ball for interception. There's a blown assignment by the right tackle on protection. There's a blown assignment by the back. I mean, this is a lack of prep. 1 year since Tyreek Hill has had a catch that exceeded 30 yards.
That's crazy.
That's his whole game. So, D. Wood, I mean, could you expand on your thought? I mean, because I know soft is not a word you use lightly.
Yeah,
we all understand how big a deal that is in the football world. So what do you mean by it? What did you see?
I've always said when it comes to the Dolphins, their play style doesn't it's not conducive to long-term success in the National Football League. Mike McDaniel, he draws up a lot of eye candy, and try to fool people. But in the National Football League, it's about the line of scrimmage. It's about, it's about physicality, imposing your will on that. There's none of that with the Miami Dolphins. And I've talked about their culture down there stinks. We've been talking about it all offseason, and when you come out there and lay an absolute...
What should we be saying here?
We talked about the Bengals, how they've struggled on opening day. Well, the Indianapolis Colts hadn't won an opener in 4,400 days, dating back to 2013. And they acted like they had been saving all this fury against the Miami Dolphins. Plus, ESPN's got this stat called net efficiency, which incorporates offense, defense, and special teams into a number that grades a team on a scale of 1 to 100. Miami's net efficiency yesterday.
Coming in for Tyreek.
When the losses start mounting up and teams decide that they're better off building for the future.
All right, we are rolling along as you